This is Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
As another week of June comes to an end and 180 days of 2020 come to a close, how can June not be celebrated in sync with 36 months of the greatest talk show on the planet? 36 months, 156 weeks, and 1095 days. So, with this note, let's start episode number 382 of the greatest talk show in the universe. So, what are the highlights for this morning's episode? As always, the celebrations continue of 156 weeks without a break, 36 months of greatness, knowledge, and education, 1095 days of fun filled programming. And then we move on to the luck and fluke of the New Zealand team's win and also sing a song which is so relevant to the contemporary times. So let's begin.
It's 10:15.
ये दुनिया उठ पटांगा किते हत्त किते टांगा इते कुकड़ी ने नीबांगा चक दे फटे. The first line is so true. दुनिया is उठ पटांगा right now. ये दुनिया केल तमाशा एटे जीने की भाषा केनु किच किच पैन चूषा ए चक दे फटे. ये दुनिया उठ पटांगा किते हत्त किते टांगा इते कुकड़ी ने नीबांगा एटे चक दे फटे. ये दुनिया खेल तमाशा एद जीने की भाषा कैनु किच किच पैंजी शूशा एंड चक दे फटे. चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे फटे. चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे फटे. चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे फटे चक दे फटे चक दे. ए दुनिया मस्त कलंदर ता उठे बैठा बंदर समझे अपनू सिकंदर एड़े चक दे फटे. We know who the बंदर is. ये दुनिया वारी वारी चक दे सारे नर नारी तू कानियों बिना भिखारी ए चक दे फटे. ए दुनिया मस्त कलंदर ता उठे बैठा बंदर समझे अपनू सिकंदर एड़े चक दे फटे. ये दुनिया वारी वारी चक दे सारे नारी तू कानियों बना भिखारी ए चक दे फटे. चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे फटे. चक दे चक दे चक दे चक दे फटे चक दे फटे चक दे. Let's get back to the celebrations. 156 weeks, 36 months, 1095 days of the greatest talk show on the planet. And contrary to what people say, that don't celebrate, don't have junk food, well, I junk all those ideas and I will celebrate the way I want, how I want, and no one can tell me how to celebrate. The talk show which has been the epitome of what a talk show means, and 3 years, 156 weeks, 36 months, 1095 days says a lot. So how are we going to celebrate? Well, the celebrations will continue into the week. Well, I'm going to keep it a secret, but you all know what happens when we celebrate. Champagne, wine, assorted food, fine dining. That's how you celebrate. Contrary to what people say about junk food and all kinds of food, well, that theory is discarded. I discard such theories. And as we celebrated for my 350th episode earlier this year, 375th episode earlier this year, 300th episode late last year, the same way we are going to celebrate 3 years of the greatest talk show on the planet. Now let's get to the main theme of this morning's episode. Before that, let's take a short break. Let's get back to the main theme of this morning's episode. So, New Zealand won the final of the championship. Big deal. For me, it was fluke and luck and practicing the art of deception. Did India do anything wrong in their team selection? No. Though the selected erred by not selecting Pandya and Bhuvneshwar Kumar in the form of fast bowling all-rounders on the excuse that they are not fit and their longevity will come into question. Looking at the panel of selectors who hardly played a year in their own career, they cannot comment on how long can these two legendary fast bowling all-rounders play. And compared to a certain player from New Zealand, that is CDG, who was only played because he could add as the all-rounder dimension. Otherwise, he didn't do much in batting, bowling, fielding. He was not even required as far as his bowling was concerned in the second innings. But for me, New Zealand's win was a bit of fluke and luck. And this whole comparison of New Zealand being a small nation, resources, how Indian Cricket Board spends millions of dollars in investment and New Zealand Cricket Board makes 1/3 of that return on investment, and the money conversation, the population conversation, the standard of living conversation. I think that conversation itself is a poor conversation. When you don't know what to converse, you talk about who spends more money. Irrelevant factors like population, which is 1/3 of India. It doesn't make a difference if they have a 55 lakh population and we have a 200 billion population. Population doesn't make a difference. New Zealand's preferred sport is always rugby. Cricket is number 2. Will cricket also rise after winning this championship? Maybe not, because the prefix world to this championship is a misnomer. Knowing that only 10 teams play this tournament, out of which only 7 or 8 teams cricket board spend a fortune on their players and investment and on infrastructure and other places. This was always going to be a mismatch. World means you have teams from Europe, all the teams from Asia, Africa, whatever continents are in the world, they play. So the prefix world, they won the world, is incorrect. They may have won a small portion of fanatics, but not the entire world. And then let's move on to another unfair criticism of a certain legendary bowler in Bumrah. So Bumrah bowls, he doesn't pick up wickets in both the innings. He's lucky, unlike the New Zealand bowlers who get the edge or the LBW or caught. Bumrah doesn't have that kind of luck going his way, and suddenly he's off color, not good enough. What is he missing? Is he not bowling full? Is he not bowling Yorkers? It happens. It has happened to the best of the bowlers. Mitchell Starc struggled in the whole India-Australia series, but can the Australian team do without Mitchell Starc? No. So yeah, he didn't pick up wickets. Time will come, he will pick up. You're never going to go wicketless. The concern was also about going with 2 spinners. Well, that was the best team available, and also because there was no Hardik Pandya and Bhuvneshwar Kumar to be a backup for the 3 fast bowlers. This is the best team they went with, and then they didn't put Shardul Thakur in the 15. Otherwise, Shardul Thakur could have been the 4th bowler, he could have been the all-rounder, and there could have been 1 spinner. But that's their decision. Let's not talk about it because it doesn't matter, and it's not the end of the world. Of course, there is some conversation about transition, but sport can be harsh. We can put players on a divine pedestal and then we can bring them down up to the levels of you are nothing. And that is exactly what happened in this particular match. So they lose one match and suddenly it's the end of the world. You need transition, you need new players, fresh players. Gill couldn't play the moving ball. Pujara is too defensive. Kohli is falling across and getting LBW, or he was not able to sustain the height of a 7 feet Kyle Jamieson. Such kind of analytics are coming out, which I, as always, disagree with because it's coming from people who have not even played 10 games in their entire career. So it's unfair to say the least, but let's talk more on transition. So this group has been playing since 2013, which is good. They should be playing, and now they have reached 31, 32. So yes, it does happen. 31, 32 overall is not even old. You are still young, you are still fit. Yes, there will be chinks in the armor, but that's how this sport is. To say that this sport is a team sport, I will disagree with the term team sport because you are concerned about the form of Kohli, Rahane, Pujara, etc., etc. In football, hockey, any other team sport, it doesn't make a difference who scores the goal or who contributes. It's a team which wins. But here, all 11 players are individuals. They have their own personal goals, and when it comes to team goals, that's just a coincidence. So yes, it's not the end of the world, and yes, due to certain protocols, they are limited as far as practice matches are concerned, and bio bubble and quarantine and all those harsh rules which come into play, and the weather and lot of things didn't go their way. But to say that New Zealand win was deserved, no. Will they be remembered as the first champions? Of course, this was the first ever 5-day championship as far as the international teams are concerned, because this happens at the level of domestic. but this happened at an international level with points and percentage points and series and whatnot coming into play. So, yes, they will be remembered, but once the next phase begins, it's not necessary that they will be in the next final. We don't know which two teams will even be in the next final. But as far as the Bumrah and the form criticism is concerned, there is no point listening to some dull experts. That's the interesting part. For me, yes, rain did spoil plans, which was evident. Sixth day was brought into effect, which is also a good plan, but there were a lot of rules which were breached. For me, in cricket, even after the toss has been made and the team has been announced, they should be allowed to change the team even after the toss has been done and the decision has been made to bowl first or bat first or whatever the decision is, because they did not change the team even after the toss happened or before the toss because of overcast conditions and whatnot. They could have done that, but whatever decision they made, whatever was the logic, they should still be allowed to have like for like substitutes even without injury. Is it unfair? No. Is it practical? Yes. Should it be allowed? Yes. Cricket is one of the few games which masquerades as a game which has progressed, but in a lot of way it's still stuck in the same place. Yes, championships happen, not surprising. 20 over games happen, not surprising. Innovative shots take place, good. 20 over domestic World Cups happen, good. But in a lot of ways, there is a lot of rigidity as far as few of the rules are concerned. Looking at Neil Wagner, he bowled a lot of bouncers. He should have been called with a no ball, or he should have been called off as a bowler. He bowled 4 or 5 short bouncers, whether they were effective or not, and then he bowls a full delivery which puts the batsman on the front foot and the batter is out. Good thinking, but poor rules. After the second or third bouncer, he should have been called a no ball, which means there should have been a free hit the next ball. Then it could have been fair, but it wasn't fair. And that's the way this sport is played. Why do we worry when 156 weeks have been completed, 36 months have been completed, and this talk show has been going on for 1095 days? And moving on, what should be the plan against the England team? The team need not worry. This loss is not the end of the world. Move on, you lose, you move on. And ironically, if this was a hockey or a football team which had reached the finals of such a championship, then if they had lost, what would, first of all, nobody would even know that the team has reached the finals of a hockey Olympic finals or a World Cup final or a Pro League final or the finals of the Asia Cup. First of all, nobody would have even thought about that. There would have been no conversation around it, which already shows the attitude towards one sport and the attitude towards other sports. So yes, it's not the end of the world. There are still other championships happening around the world. Qualification for Olympics, even that's one tournament. Though, should a player or team be judged by the number of championships they win? We do that because that's the human mindset that cannot be removed. It's the same in academics, it's the same in sport. If you don't win championships, you're not good enough. And if you don't win championships, you should not be playing. That's the attitude which I think is absolutely wrong. Let's move on. I have rated some of the players. These rating might shock a few Puritans and those who were critical of the performances, but my ratings are final and no one can contest them. So these are the ratings. For Rohit Sharma, he did well. Yes, he could not convert his 30s into hundreds and 200s. Well, nobody did. Even from New Zealand, nobody played in a positive manner. They were all nervous. So yes, Rohit Sharma gets 8 on 10. Shubman Gill still wet behind the ears, still a greenhorn, will take his time. So he gets 6 on 10. Pujara needs to improve on a few things, needs to get out of his defensive shell, but I will still keep him in the team if needed. I will not drop him. Yet he could have done a little bit better, taken a cue from Williamson's book, and therefore he gets 5 on 10. Kohli did his best, was checkmated by the opposition bowler. Can't do anything about that. It's not a weakness. It's just happened. So yeah, he gets 7 on 10. Rahane did well before he was caught in both the innings by a bit of luck from the bowler side. No mistake from the batter side. So yes, he gets 6 on 10. Rishabh Pant did well, was running out of partners, had to control his shots. When he tried a big shot, it did not get executed the way he wanted, yet well done, 9 out of 10. The all-rounders, Jadeja and Ashwin. Jadeja did not get much of a chance to bowl. He tried his best with the bat. Once again, the bizarre rules went against him. 4 bouncers, one of them should have been a no ball or something else. Ashwin did well in both the innings, tried to contribute, but number 8 of New Zealand hits sixes, it goes for a 6. Number 8 of India tries the same thing, you get out. Matter of luck. Shami did well, was struggling because hadn't bowled before that. That was the big thing. Was he fit enough? Could the other guy have been tried? But they went with this bowling lineup. He did well, did not get the edge, can't do anything. That's the way this sport is played. Bumrah, another good performance. His out of form is not a concern. He'll do what he has to do. And Ishant, as always, if James Anderson can continue till 39 and nobody questions that, and everybody gives him this greatest swing bowler and all those terminologies, then why can't Ishant continue till the age of 39? At 31, even people would have questioned James Anderson and can he continue? He listened to no one and he went on to play till the age of, he is still playing till the age of 39. So yes, Ishant can do that. And can Ishant break Kapil Dev's record? Yes. He may not get to 600 wickets, but he will certainly get to 500 wickets. And if people have any doubts about that, they should just put a tape on their mouths. Let's move forward.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the Weekly Show.
So this ends episode number 382 on the 25th of June 2021. I will be back on 28th of June 2021. Till then, keep tuned in. As always, you can read my books available on Amazon, ebook format and hard copy. The Fifth Empire and Beyond the TV. Don't forget to purchase an ebook format or a hard copy. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel to get information on further episodes.